Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Talking Fitchburg, and it is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. I'm Jeremy Crosby. I hope you had a wonderful day out there. When the sun is shining and it's warm, I don't think it gets any better than that. Consider everything that's happened the last couple of months. It just feels right to have some nice weather here coming into the weekend for Memorial Day. As we get into the Memorial Day weekend, we've got a lot to talk about before we get there. I know it's a couple days away. Bump the brakes. Maybe you're packed up and ready to go, but we got to get through the shows here, a couple more days of shows, and then you can go out, okay? So, Andrew, stick around, buddy. We got more to come here on TF. We'll get you updated on your headlines here in just a little bit of time. Plus, we got the Fitchburg Road Construction update for you. We'll check in and see where the projects are at. Bill's super busy this week, so I'm going to handle the duties. We'll see what happens. Fingers are crossed, folks. Hopefully Bill's not watching. All right, Hy-Vee dietitian Andrea is here. She'll talk about smart shopping as you plan ahead to head out to the stores, which they're saying, more like instead of just going in and trying to pick out a meal for the night, try to plan ahead. And it can be smart for a lot of different reasons, not just during this time, but for meal planning and more. So we'll check in here with that in a little bit as well. But first, we turn our attention to the news, and we got information in from Parks and Recs this afternoon, an update, if you will. So the Fitchburg Park and Recreation Department will be following the forward Dane phase reopening plan provided by the Public Health of Madison and Dane County. This reopening plan does provide guidance and protocols, rules for opening of park facilities and amenities. These guidelines, protocols, rules will be posted throughout the park system where applicable. So a summary of that here is what you're seeing. And tennis courts will be open by the end of the day today, Wednesday, May 20th. Sunnyside Dog Park there will be open by the end of the day tomorrow. That's the 21st, not 31st, cheapers. Thursday, May 21st. And then disc golf is open at the Nine Springs Golf Course as well. Athletic fields and hoops. Those basketball courts all open to family and household use only. So it's not a gathering place. Rather, if you want to go out with your family and do some stuff, whatever, you can do that with the family, but no organized group can participate. Here's what's not open. So we're still the playgrounds are closed, park bathrooms will be closed, drinking fountains closed, and the splash pad closed. So if you got any questions, check in with Park and Recreation Department, and they will guide you through that. And we'll keep you updated here on Talking Fitchburg on the latest changes and updates from the Parks and Rec. All right, transitioning on to our clerk's department. Reminding you again, My Vote, that's where it's at. Yeah, visit My Vote Wisconsin to update your name, address, information, register to vote, request an absentee ballot, and find out more about where you vote and any other details. Yeah, we want to make sure we share this over and over and over again, get you up to date, and we want you to use absentee voting if you can for the next election coming up in August. And you're like, it's August, Jeremy. It's gonna be, well, get it taken care of now. Let's go, right? Deal with it. All right, we're back with World Bee Day. World Bee Day. Where'd Andrew find this story? Here we go. Open up this. Wisconsin is home to a wide variety of bees. Yeah, not those big ones, though. Thank goodness, right? And play a very important role in everyday lives. How many Wisconsin bees can you identify? Or did you think about the bees this morning while you were drinking a cup of coffee? Or while you were snacking on some almonds, raspberries, apples, cherries, blueberries, or strawberries? Andrew ate all of those today. There are just a few. These are just a few of the many, many crops pollinated by bees. Consider planting for pollinators to help feed the busy bees and keep them fed. For more information on how to keep them, protected and help them survive, Department of Trade Consumer Protection. They got you covered with the latest and greatest information there. Yeah, the bee population has been declining for many years. So if you can do, we can all do our part and help with that growth. If you're like me, though, I run when I see them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've just been stung enough that I just turn into a sad, sad person when I see a bee. But no worries. Let's get out there. I know I'm going to plant my garden this upcoming weekend, so try to do my part and get some of those plants so they can pollinate all over the place. All right. Verona Area School District Virtual Summer School. Yeah, virtual summer school registration is open. Verona Area School District to see what your child can take for this summer. In regards to all virtual, it's a lot of virtual stuff all over the place, right? The Madison School District and Verona School District offering up this summer. So if you are interested, you may have received some information on it, but this is your reminder. Make sure you take care of that. All right, Verona Road curb and gutter work continues. That's right. Crews continue to pour concrete for the curb and gutter along the interchange ramps at Verona Road, 18151 County PD in Fitchburg. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. They've been posting up a lot of pictures this week. Watch for the road ahead and be alert for crews and equipment near these travel lanes. Also, just went through the Fish Hatchery Road construction. I mean, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but they've got curb and gutter going in as well. So both projects moving along very nicely. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. All right, finally, every time this story comes out, if you've watched this show before, you know this guy is one of the people who hit a deer. All right, well, there's a nice truck. Officials with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation and Division of State Patrol are reminding motorists to be extra alert for deer along roadways. Deer activity typically increases during May and June as females search place to give birth and young deer separate from their mothers. Crashes between deer and motor vehicles tend to peak in the fall. However, May and June period is when motorists are most likely to be injured in a deer vehicle crash. Last year in Wisconsin, there was 18,408 reported deer vehicle crashes, resulting in 555 injuries to motorists and 9 fatalities. Of the 9 fatalities, 6 of them were related to motorcyclists. So if you're hitting the road with this nice weather, you got to be careful with that. Counties with higher traffic volumes and deer populations tend to record the most crashes. A county-by-county breakdown indicates Dane County had the most reported deer vehicle crashes in Wisconsin. Woo! It's not one you cheer for. Wisconsin last year with 859, followed by Waukesha, which had 823. And Washington County came in at 758. But we stand out here. That's a lot. So what can you do? Well, you can do this. Slow down, eliminate distractions, and make sure that all your vehicle occupants are buckled. Motorcycles should wear protective gear, helmet. Deer can be seen at any time, but most likely are in the early morning or evening hours or when you're going to see them moving. If you see one deer cross in front of you, watch for more. They tend to travel in packs, my friends, let me tell you. And if a collision with a deer is unavoidable, brake firmly, stay in your lane, and avoid sudden swerving, which can result in loss of vehicle control and more serious crash. Yeah, if you see a deer, best thing you do is just try to slow down and drive right into it. Unfortunately, if you swerve or something, I've seen a lot of people roll their vehicles or run into other motorists. So let's be cautious and we'll watch for those deer as we head into this Memorial Day weekend and basically through June. All right, coming up next, we open up our digest segment. We're talking about your Fitchburg road construction update next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
You ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It's now time for your Fitchburg road construction update. And unfortunately, Bill, a little tied up as we get into the holiday weekend. Crews are working fast to get things wrapped up before people hit the road for the weekend. So I'll be doing your construction update, but don't worry. Bill left me some notes, so we'll dive right into that right here. So right now, Fish Hatchery Road construction project, and that's the one we're going to focus on today. That's the one I have the updates for. This is the Beltline to Traceway Drive. Crews continue to make great progress along Fish Hatchery Road between the Beltline and Traceway Drive. Concrete is being crushed and recycled into base aggregate for the road construction. And even some curb and gutter in. I even saw some paved lanes. You're seeing some of those photos now here, which is really cool. We've talked to you about the water shutdowns, and there's still some more to be had. So water shutdowns continue here, and tonight, Wednesday, May 20th, from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m., there'll be hydrant replacement, and this is between, let's see here, I better make sure I get this one right. This is between Greenway Cross and Pike Drive is where this work is happening. So they'll be doing the hydrant replacement, and then cut-in valves at Dialysis Center on Wednesday, May 20th. That's also happening 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. Tonight. And Traceway Connection is happening Thursday, May 21st. That one's 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. as well. So you now know there'll be some water shutdowns for that construction. Let's look at some of the alerts here. Please remember to plan a little extra time if you have to travel along Fish Hatchery Road. On average, plan additional 15 minutes to travel from one end of the project to the other during peak hours of the rush hours. One lane of travel remains available in each direction, with bidirectional left turn lane in the middle of the axis of local businesses. Please use the bike tour for cycle safety. That's very important here. Is can't get through otherwise. Plan ahead and avoid construction delays by using the sign alternate routes. There's a detour around Highway 14 and 18151. Remember that on Highway 14, by the way, there is road construction happening on there as well, doing some resurfacing. Pedestrians should use the west sidewalk by the orange and white pedestrian barricades to access the temporary bus stops, and northbound bus stops are now located in existing median. Vehicles should use caution when entering and traveling within the two-way left turn lane. All right, look ahead here for construction operations. Grading operations along property driveways will be performed during the week. Access will be maintained. The vehicles will be in close proximity to heavy highway construction equipment. Pike Drive water and storm sewer will begin. Concrete crushing operations continue. They have a large pile to get through still, so a lot to come there. Concrete crews on site this week, focusing on the Greenway Cross area. And then June 1st, work starts on south of Post Road. So they are cruising right along here. And some milestones here really quick. They've completed construction of Pike Drive Pond and nearing the completion of Pike Drive. And completion of storm sewer installation on north of Greenway Cross, and cleared Bowman waste site as well. So, and the project here moving ahead as far as the schedule goes, and completed stages here. So that's what you're seeing moving ahead. So they completed the Stage A. Stage B, construction of northbound lanes. Traffic will be shifted to existing southbound lanes. That'll start April 20th through mid-July. And then Stage C, construction of southbound traffic will be shifted on the new northbound lanes midsummer to fall. Stage D, well, that's just late fall within winter shutdown. We'll talk about that when it gets a little bit cooler out. And we want you to stay informed of the project. You can stay up to date on the project information by, of course, checking out our updates. Every Wednesday, we'll be doing that here on Talking Fitchburg. And then you can go out to the website, fitchburgwi.gov, and you can stay up to date by going to the project website there. And they have, Bill is keeping you up to date with posting these updates there, has all the maps, the great information related to this. And access to area businesses remains open. So I know work zones can be tough to get through, but as we've learned with the Verona Road construction project, we still want you to patronize the businesses. We know it's tough to get in and out of there, but if you plan a little bit extra time, the businesses would sure like to see you, and especially right now as things start to reopen. Take the chance to stop on by, shop, dine, and support local first if you can. And just passing through there today and seeing some of those photos, I mean, traffic's moving pretty good. The construction's moving along great. I mean, to see curb and gutter already is pretty amazing, and we're not even into June yet. So they are cruising right along. And I said the access to those businesses, especially between Greenway Cross and Post, is up and running and looking good. And Andrew, they've even paved all the way up to the Beltline already. Some Beltline to Greenway Cross is already in place. So it's coming along really, really nice. All right, that does it for this construction update. We'll check in with Bill hopefully after his long weekend of vacation. I don't know if he's on vacation yet, but I'm just going to assume that he is. We'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we check in with my friend Andrea over at Hy-Vee. We're talking about smart shopping next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
We scored?
Yeah, we scored going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Wait, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Gaining weight was easy. All I had to do was sit down and eat. Losing weight's a lot harder. I have to work at it every day. But with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step, every choice, every day very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes by losing weight, eating healthy, and staying active. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
Back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is Andrea Miller from Hy-Vee. She is a registered dietitian and our dietitian for Talking Fitchburg. Nobody knows that, but I'm saying it right now that you are. Andrea, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Glad you're able to take the time and help us and the viewers out with your great tips. Today we're going to be talking about basically the grocery shopping. It's changed, obviously, and we want to make the trip safer, which a lot of stores, including yours, have done, and it's a new experience for all of us, and we're getting used to it. But also making it efficient as well when you do head out, which is what you want to do, is get in and get out and get what you need. So we'll start in what are some of the measures that have been put in place well, specifically, you know what's happening at your stores, but similar at a lot of other grocery stores across the U.S. But what are we talking about here as far as what do you guys have in place?
Sure. So our store, including a lot of the other stores in the area, have really been using the social distancing recommendations as kind of the start of changes that you'll see or have already seen in the stores. So that's a matter of from the cashier or the customer service desk, noting that you're 6 feet or more away from that person, in between customers when waiting in line at the aisle, or excuse me, at the to check out. And then also one big one is we put one-way arrows throughout the store. So we're not crossing individuals within the aisles, because the aisles, aren't very big. And so it's hard to do a 6 foot if you have one person on each side of the aisle. So it takes a little getting used to, but once you kind of get the hang of it, the flow actually works out really well.
Yeah, and as we'll get into talking about the planning here of doing that, grocery stores are typically set up to make the shopping experience efficient in general. So even before all of this had started, things are strategically placed, whether you want to share all of that or not, but things are in a good way. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but to help make your shopping experience a little bit easier anyways, right?
Right. Yeah, the one big difference is we would like people to kind of enjoy and kind of wander in our stores and make it an experience. So that might be a little bit different, because we do kind of want to be a little bit more efficient when we go shopping now rather than wandering. But you're right. I mean, we try to have wide aisles to begin with, make it comfortable for people to move around so you're not so crammed together, and then flow from one department to the next. So we're trying to still keep some of that as well.
I only say that because I worked in grocery for it was my first job, and had no clue going into it. But then after working there for so long, you're like, oh yeah, I guess that does make sense how this lays out. But I digress. Let's talk about the planning process, because this can make or break, I think, could be an easy shopping experience or not. If we're putting a plan together, where would you even begin to start with?
Sure. So this is important because we're kind of in a stage where we've been here for a while. This has been going on for a while, and maybe once this all kind of started, we may have just gathered a bunch of food, not really knowing what we were going to do with it, and now we're kind of looking like, maybe this is how grocery shopping is going to be for a while. And maybe some of these changes are going to be long-term changes. So is there a way that we can do things differently moving forward? And one of the things that I really recommend is taking the time to do some of that planning before you go into the grocery store. And that might sound simple, but for people who are used to kind of just going and getting what they need at the time, that might be a big transition to make. So one of my first recommendations is to take an inventory of what you have at home. So what's in your pantry, what's in your freezer, what's in your fridge. This can prevent you from buying a lot of excess that you don't need. It can help with your budget, so you're not just buying things that you already have in your cupboards at home. Take an inventory, and then from that, see what kind of meals you want to make with what you already have. And maybe you just need a few supplemental items to finish off a couple meals, right? So kind of starting with that part.
I think we, of course, you have like the last cream of corn. You're like, where am I going to get that in? But I think checking ahead at home is great. Looking at if you were to stock up on some things, I look at it like at chicken, like for example, like I can use this in so many different fashions. So I'll make sure to pick that up because I can mix that in. But if you're looking at stocking up on certain items, do you have any recommendations there? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but
yeah. So I mean, there's still some strategic things you can do. So that's a first good thing is to look at something like, let's say your family really enjoys meals made with chicken, then that would be a good example to go from. If you take that a little bit broader, if you're not shopping for specific meals, what you could do is make sure you're getting foods that are represented in all the food groups, because meal planning honestly is as simple as just doing 3 or more different food groups at a meal, and you've got balance and you've got variety already figured out. So if you shop for a variety or all 5 of the food groups, then when you're ready to put meals together at home, you have it all there ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm betting this next question helps in that and making things a little bit more interesting. Instead of just switching totally to a different diet, what can we do here, now that we've gone into this? And this is something that the Crosby household is definitely interested in knowing.
Right. There's certainly, there's certainly a category of people who are loving this because they love cooking and they love food and they love trying new things. But there's the reality. There's also a bunch of folks who are really annoyed with cooking so much at home or just getting kind of in a rut with things. So if you do have other people that you're living with, whether it's your family or roommates or whatever, and you've been kind of hunkering down together, maybe if you haven't already, trying different things, not taking it so seriously, not thinking of it so serious as a chore, but can you do a theme night or do breakfast for supper, or can you do different things, even, have something where you do even a few decorations that your kids could make and change the music up for dinner time, different things that might be interesting. I also encourage people not to underestimate what other people's ideas are. I mean, your 3-year-old could have an idea that could shock you, or could assist in such a way that she gets more, involved with the meal. So including other people, keeping it simple, like I said, 3 or more different food groups, that makes up a meal. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Get other people involved. And then even one other thing is just kind of, maybe you take something that you really want to master. You really want to, start doing homemade pizza. And so you start practicing pizza dough or different toppings or things like that. So make it fun. You don't have to take it so seriously.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good advice there. Real quick, a lot of grocery stores and stores in general do have the online shopping component. For somebody who's never tried this before, I found a really good tool, not only for great budgeting purposes, but for planning as well.
Right. So if you want to try this, or if you have been doing it, if you have your list of foods that will help you make the meals that you want to have on hand, and then if you can log right on. We're going to include the link that goes right to Aisles Online. We're also including the 1-800 number that's specifically customer service for Aisles Online. So if it's somebody that's not very comfortable with the online environment, or really would like to talk to somebody to get their account set up, they can call that number and talk to somebody. But in general, what I usually tell people is, if you do it once and you put, the food in that you want to get, and you pick it up and it's all there, or most of it's there, and you do it once, you're hooked. So they bag everything where you put it at home, so it's very efficient. All your refrigerated stuff comes together. You're frozen, you're dry. And so once you kind of go through the process once and see how it works, how you can leave messages for the shopper. If you want a few green bananas and a few yellow bananas, you can do that. Once you do it once, then you kind of see how the flow goes, and you build your confidence up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty slick tool to have. A lot of retail chains have gotten into this, especially now more than ever. Give it a try if you haven't already. Andrea, thank you so much for the tips today. Appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and we look forward to having you back on the show real soon. Okay, thanks so much. All right, that's Andrea Miller from Hy-Vee here in Fitchburg. Well, she's serving most of the Madison locations here, so you gotta say hi and say Talking Fitchburg, please, so she knows that she's getting good tips, or the tips out there for her. All right, we'll take a break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Hola, Julia. ¿Estás lista para tocar con nosotros? Yo tocaré mi clarinete.
Y Alma tocará su tambor. Tambor ruidoso.
Bueno, ya sabes qué hacer, Julia.
Julia sabe.
Dado el autismo de Julia, los sonidos pueden ser muy fuertes.
Y hace música a su manera. ¡A tocar!
La detección temprana del autismo puede hacer una diferencia de por vida. Conoce más sobre la detección temprana en detecciondeautismo.org.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. Got to start with our thank yous. You know how this works. First, I'd like to thank Jeremy for the road construction update. No, I was kidding. I had to say it. No, we'll check in with Bill next week on the road construction update. And I thank Andrea over at Hy-Vee, a dietitian. She's helping us guide you through on a whole bunch of different topics. We'll be talking about Caribbean diet next time. Super good. Andrew's, or Mediterranean, I'm sorry. Well, it's Caribbean, Mediterranean, whatever. It's going to be great. Andrew's like, dude, come on. Whatever. He's still trying it, He's a little angry on that one. It's really fruity. All right. Make sure you stay connected with Fact TV all day long, whether it's social media, cable TV, or Andrew's favorite, Roku and Apple TV. Check it out. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.